Hi guys, in this video, we are going to be going over one of the more advanced features of Google Sheets, which is an if statement. So an if statement is an idea where you teach the spreadsheet how to think and how to make a decision. The only rule is it has to be a very simple yes, no type of decision or a either or. And it always has to be involving a number. It's something bigger than a number or smaller than a number. Okay, so again, I have some examples here. So minimum wage. So if you're 18 or older, you get paid $14 an hour. If not, you're younger, you get $13.15, which is the student minimum wage. For voting, if you're 18 or older, yes, you get to vote. If not, no. If you're in a grade greater than grade 10, so 11s and 12s, you're called seniors. If not, you're called an intermediate student. If you score 3 or more goals in hockey or soccer, you call that a hat trick. If not, it's not a hat trick. So these are the very simple decisions a spreadsheet can make. So they're very yes, no, either or. So it usually involves one of these mathematical operators as well. So we're asking if a number is greater than a number. So we have to know that this number, this symbol right here that opens to the left is greater than. If it's the other way where you open to the right, it's less than. Again, we know the equal sign. And again, the two other ones that kind of can be confusing is the greater than or equal to. So if someone's greater than or equal to 18, they can vote. So if you want to write greater than or equal to, it's the greater than and the equal sign. Or less than or equal to, which is the less than or equal to sign. Okay, so how do you write an if statement? There's 3 parts. There's if, which is the condition or the rule, as I like to say. So is a person 18 or older? And then what do you do if it's true? Well, if you are like 20, you say, that's true, I am 18 or older, I can vote. If the number you're looking at is 16, it's false. Again, the result would be no. So let's look at a minimum wage example. So if someone is 18 or older, they get $14 per hour. Otherwise, they receive $13.15, the student minimum wage. So how would I write that? Well, let's say I had a person's age in cell B2. So if cell B2 is greater than or equal to 18, they'll receive $14 per hour. If that's not true, it's $13.15. So that's the very simple type of if statement you can write for a spreadsheet. So let's look at an example now. It has to do with student marks. And we want to know if a student is going to summer school or not. So if a student is going to summer school, it means their mark is, again, failing. It's less than 50. So I have these students, again, Melissa Bergen is the first, and she has 3 tests and then an average of those 3 tests. So if this average is less than 50, she goes to summer school. So let's write that equal statement, so that if statement. So it starts with an equal sign, and it's equals if, bracket, again, this cell right here, F2. So if F2 is less than 50, so if you get a mark of 50, you've passed the class, you don't need to go to summer school. So if it's less than 50, we say, yes, you are going to summer school. And then what if the mark is not less than 50? Then it's no. So putting no in quotation marks. So this is our rule. If a person has a mark less than 50, yes, they go to summer school. If not, it's no. So let's see if it works for Melissa Bergen. No, perfect. So her mark was 75. So it's not less than 50. So no, she doesn't have to go. Now let's do this for the rest. Okay. So let us, again, type in the rest of them. Okay, so You could go down to Ben Bishop and do the same thing where now you're comparing, again, F3 to, is it less than or equal to 50? Or you can work smarter, not harder. Okay, if you ever click on a cell and you know I'm going to have to do the same thing again and again and again, you can use a tool called the Fill All tool. And you just have to realize that if you find that little blue square and you hold down the cursor and drag, it will autofill to the next row. So again, it knew, again, F3. And if I was to do it again, it would update it to F4. It's doing the work for you. So now you can just do it all the way to the end. So drag it all the way to the end. And only a few people have to go to summer school. So just make sure when you're looking at this list, if it says yes, just make sure the mark is below 50. Okay, my second decision. Again, is this student's mark above the average for the class? So sometimes that's information your parents want to know. So how do you figure it out? Well, we have to figure out what the average is for the class. Okay, so at the bottom of the F column, I have a little cell that I'm going to say I want to figure out the class average. So equals, it knows it. So I want to figure out the average of everything from F2 to F31. So that'll tell me the class average, and then enter. So the class average is 67.6. So now we need another if statement, which is equals if, again, the student's average is greater than, what cell would that be? Cell F32. Again, we could say above average. If it's not greater than F33, we want it to say below average. I'll go all the way back to the top. So I know, again, 75 is greater than 67, so I know it worked. And let's do the same thing. Let's fill all, so we don't have to type them out all individually. And see what happened. Again, you should notice something's up because everybody is above average. Again, and that shouldn't be a thing because we know somebody failed, so not everyone's mark was again above the average. That's not possible. So a mistake has happened. So let's look at, again, the first one. First one, that's right. The second one, that's where the issue has happened. Because we wanted it to look at cell F33, that's Ben Bishop's average, but it's comparing it to F34. And if you look at F34, there's nothing in it. So it's just comparing itself to nothing, or zero in this case. That's not what I wanted it to do. So when it updated and autofilled, it kept moving that second cell down 1, 2. I didn't want it to do that. So again, instead of going through, again, all of them individually, I'm going to fix this first one a special way just to make sure it doesn't change. So I want this one to change, but I always want to compare this cell to F33. And there's a way to make sure it doesn't change when you autofill, and it's called the absolute cell reference. So in front of the F, I want you to write a $sign, and in front of the 33, I want you to write a $sign as well. So I hit enter. Nothing has changed. It still works. But now when we autofill it, autofill all the way down right to the end, now things look right. So this person right here, again, they were below that 67%. So we know they're below average. So now it worked. And when we look at the cell, it's always F33 we're comparing to. Now we know it worked. Okay, so I know that was complicated, but the more you practice with it, the easier it becomes, because it's very simple decisions you're asking the computer to make. So if you have any questions, stop by Google Meet or ask me on Classroom or send me an email. Have a good day, guys.